this is a startup and entrepreneurial channel, related channel. Let's say, why don't we just use my thing as a case study? So I had this idea, right? I made a prototype. I showed it to a management consulting company that does this sort of thing, maybe not to the extent of expertise that you have, but, and they did like various focus groups, there's that analysis and all, and they gave me the green signal to go ahead, because I was not going to go ahead until I got kind of a professional green signal to go ahead. But what could I do now? Now, basically what I'm offering is something where it's a social and networking app, which is map-based and interest-based. So basically, people can find each other on the map, not just by their name, but also by their interest. So if I say I like football, and I put that in as what I call my trait word, one of my trait words, and people make a search for football, I'll be one of the results that come up, and then people can approach me, and then possibly we could go ahead and play football in real life. Now, just given this example, where would this kind of cognitive and behavioral techniques come in?
Okay. So there are two things. The first question or the first point, or the first remark you made is that you gave to an agency and which did the focused. Think about it. When we are conversing, would I be in the same way or acting in the same way I would generally act at 11 o'clock in my bedroom? The answer is absolutely no. But the behavior where you are not in a public eye, when you know that you are not being noticed, the behavior is very different as compared to the behavior when you are on the public eye. Because when you are in the public eye, then your conscious mind is hyperactive. And hence, whenever you do a focus group, in a focus group, you have some incentive to earn after the focus group. Number two, when you are talking, you are generally talking from what appears to be, because you are not going to be the end user of it, may not be. Number three, you have nothing as a reaction to it. If you give negative, you don't get anything in addition. So why I should generally be negative? Right. I am only going to gain something out of it.
So basically what you're saying is focus groups are skewed.
So everything which is done in a controlled condition is skewed. As I mentioned that 70 to 80% of the products fail, you think all of them have not done market research, have not done these reviews, have not done these focus group discussions? The answer is absolutely yes, they have. You may have certain progress in terms of money, but those groups, those companies,
right,
they have 100 times or 1,000 times budget than yours, and they would have done the best. If you had a sample size of 500 people, they would have a sample size of 5 lakh people.
But see, Siddhartha, I could be argued that, okay, fine, focus groups are skewed, but then it's better to at least do them instead of not doing them at all, right? Because otherwise you have no data.
So, so put it this way, what's
the solution? Yeah.
Correct. So I'll come to the solution, but the question to you, the answer to the previous question, which you, so if I don't do this, it's better to do something, otherwise don't do. So if you can't remove the bullet from the body, it's better that instead of nothing else, you can just seal it.
Well, sure, at least you stop the bleeding. No, but what I also meant was, see, let's say I know, okay, fine, focus group is skewed, but I can factor in that skewness, right, in the sense, and still get some value.
You will never be able to factor that. Okay. I'll give you a very simple, there's a very large company which is into consumer products, into FMCG company. It's a listed company, and hence I'm not gonna. They started with their beauty. They started with their beauty chain, and they thought that that's gonna do extremely well. They expanded. But the brand was always perceived as a consumer product. It was not associated with the beauty.
Okay.
And when it expanded and they had all the money prowess, eventually they had to cut the umbilical cords put it into a separate company, and then sell it off. And that company eventually died.
Wow.
So remember.
So, that example of that beauty company. So, what was wrong? Like you mentioned that the end user customers did not see it as beauty; they saw it as just a consumer good.
So tell me one thing. If Maruti, which is a fantastic brand,
a car company for international viewers.
Yeah. Let's take a very simple. If a Ferrari, let's take a simple example of Toyota, because Toyota is a brand which is known across, and Toyota is not an upper end brand. It is not the most. It's a middle class, good brand, stable, sturdy, and it's a Japanese brand. It's a sturdy brand. Now, if you create a high end a best car which is competing in line with Ferrari, and 10% discount to what the Ferrari costs, and exactly the same replica, exactly the same. Would people pay
and everything?
Same quality, everything being equal. Would people pay that price with a 10% discount?
No, because they want the brand, right? The name, the Ferrari name.
Absolutely. So your association is not with a product.
I'm doing that myself. Like, I want to get the Samsung phone and not any of these other Vivo, Oppo, whatever, because Samsung.
Why?
At least in my mind, what I'm telling myself is that the quality is a little more assured, and software updates will happen more regularly and properly, and so on and so forth.
You are articulating so many things. The one thing which is absolutely clear in your brain is Chinese, which means hacking threat, which your subconscious mind is not seeing.
Oh, my conscious mind is not seeing, you mean?
Your conscious mind is not saying, but your subconscious mind is saying, is your data secure?
I don't know about that, honestly, but fine, yeah. Because I don't think I have that much confidential stuff going on my phone. But yeah.
So most people, when they take a decision on the phone, that is one of the major, because everything practically is on your handset. You can say that I don't use, but everything practically at some point in time will cross through your phone, whatever is happening in your life.
I think in my case, what's happening is I experimented with a few cheaper phones, and that went very badly. And then Samsung went very, very well for many years. So I think that's possibly what's more in my mind. But like you pointed out, who knows what's going on subconsciously? May not be aware. Most people are not aware of their subconscious workings unless you're a meditation master or something.
Another interesting thing is, and I can tell you this, you can try and test it.
Okay.
The day you want to buy a new automobile, a new car, a new scooter, a new bike, anything, and you have decided on a color. You have placed the order. There is a lead time between the delivery and the order placed by you. So there's a lead time of maybe a month, 30 to 40 days, 50 days, whatever. You have finalized the model, you have finalized the color,
right,
and the brand. Now, what you want to do is, till now, the roads were the same, the city was the same, your movement was the same, there is no change because you are living a normal life. You will start noticing that brand and that color and that exact model moving on the road, and while you are driving, you will start turning your head. Every time, exactly the same model, exactly the same color, exactly the same brand moves, you will start moving your head while driving.
Why? Am I giving myself reassurance that I made the correct decision?
Absolutely. You want to know what your 40 days after would look like.
Okay.
Everybody on this planet wants to know their future. Even if they say they don't want to know, they want to know their future. This is a way of preempting what my future would look like.
So going back to your love versus fear thing, where does this fit into that? Where would this example of looking at the car?
This is love for life. This comes from your survival mechanism, comfort mechanism. It's all love.
Okay, so it's not fear.
Because if you, on the other side, why also you want to know? Because if you see an accident with that car, it's not your car, remember?
Yeah, it's someone else's. Yeah.
It's someone else's car, the same color. You see an accident, you would be fearful of owning that car before you have even owned it.
Right. So that's when the fear part would kick in.
And unfortunately, that is a fear of survival, and then
or lack of survival.
If your tenure of your car with you would have been 5 years, it will get cut short within maybe 9 months or 15 months.
You will sell it off and get a different car sooner.
Absolutely, very, very soon. Wow. Very, very soon.
Yeah. This is fascinating stuff. No, but Siddharth, can we go back to my startup example? So you mentioned the stuff about the focus groups execute. Okay, fine. Putting that aside, what could I have done to ensure, that, okay, this is a good idea and I should move forward with it? Because this is what I think probably the first decision a startup has to make. You get an idea. Should you move forward with it? How to do that using your behavioral techniques?
So very, very simple. The way one should do it is start. Okay, I will put it in a different manner. When people say that start using free of cost any product, why do they do it?
Get them hooked, basically.
No. To know whether they are comfortable using it at least free of cost.
Okay.
Are they all right not to get hooked? It's not that idea.
Okay. I thought it was like get them started, then it becomes a habit. No.
Wow. No. They are doing it so that they start understanding whether it adds value to them, whether they're going to use it at the first place free of cost also or not.
Right. Because if they won't even do that, then game over.
Yes.
Right.
Because are you engaging with the product or not? And if not, then that product is out. Forget about monetization of it. As of now, I'm giving you something free of cost.
Yes.
If you're not going to use it free of cost, because if you're not using free of cost, which means you don't want to invest your time into using that. Mm-hmm. Forget about getting any monetization part of it. Mm-hmm. If that level is crossed, then you go to the next level, which is giving at a marginal cost,
right?
Which is 2 rupees, 5 rupees.
Whatever
the product is 100 rupees, you give 2, because then are you willing to pay something for it?
Right.
Then you move to the next strategy, which is discount. And then if the demand picks up,
wow,
adapt.
But then, Siddharth, none of that will work for a typical app, let's say, because the apps are all
Why not? Why not?
No, because you're not charging them anything, right? It's more ad-based, which actually in my startup, there's no ads. But my point is something like a Facebook or this thing, there's no cost to the user. So it's always been free, and the user pays with his time, watching these ads. So how would a company or a startup that is ad-based, how would they go about it? Just basically not show ads?
Very, very simple. Initially, you have to burn money. Because people may not like the ad, because at the moment, the experience, you would tolerate the ad of a Facebook, you will not tolerate the ad on brand X app. The reason is, or a brand app, the reason is, at the moment, the client or the user wants to first, you would want that user should have a fantastic experience, because if there is a hindrance of the ad, the guy may move out onto the ad rather than staying with you.
Got it. So basically the startup should run it without ads and then slowly introduce ads. That's what Alibaba did, basically.
So first, not even that. You have to incentivize people. Why should they come to you? So what if You say that if you use this app, you can get some bonus points which you can redeem somewhere else.
Right.
So you incentivize people to come onto you. And why would people give their time on your app? What is the motivation there?
Well, the simple answer, at least in my mind, is that I'm providing functionality that the others are not, and they can get this in my app as opposed to anywhere else. So they'll come and use it. Hopefully.
Do they know about it? Do they trust you?
Well, obviously that is the whole marketing exercise, right?
So if they don't trust you, why would they come to you first? Remember, my first step when I test something comes that this guy will give me some value addition.
Right.
From the value addition, trust builds. From the trust, that repetition of trust happens because the services are exactly the same. Then it gets cemented, and then the monetization of it happens.
Right. So in the case of an app, you have to kind of, well,
the first step is obviously you have to give it free. Second is you have to create influencers who, if you don't have trust on your product, buy that trust.
Got it. Yeah.
Get the endorsement. So there is something known as halo effect in behavioral economics. We use it all the time. Also in neuromarketing, that's what happens. I spoke about the celebrity. Now, when you see a senior fund manager, when you see a senior guy from the finance industry talking good about certain things, that's an endorsement, and then everybody follows him or her. So that's known as halo effect. What do we do? Somebody who is good at a particular thing and is well known for achieving success, two things happen. Whenever he or she endorses something, we believe that he has complete wherewithal of it. And number two, that is more interesting, is we start believing that since he is great in finance, he's generally good in economics, people,
he's good in everything else.
Yeah. So we generalize. So somebody who is good in acting, somebody who is famous celebrity, also is great picker of toothbrush or toothpaste, or vehicle.
So that's why they always try and get these celebrities and film stars to be part of the ad. Okay.
And now I'll put a twist in this conversation.
Okay.
And it is nothing related to your app, but it is so you said that's why people take brand ambassadors as the celebrities.
Right.
There's a twist. Okay. Then why do certain brands fail despite of having brand ambassadors who are some of the greatest stars, whether in the sports world, whether in the film industry, whether in the media, so on and so forth?
That brings me, let me quickly answer that and speak a little bit on that, because my whole app actually is based kind of a little bit on that, is that I think people are getting a little more educated. Like 30 years ago, when, that was much more of an effect, I think, that if you saw an ad with a film star, you'd go rush off and buy it. Whereas today people are maybe getting a little more savvy. But on a flip point to that, if I may add quickly, is let's say I'm going to buy a car, right? I couldn't care less what ad's going on, which film star is saying buy this car, buy that car. I will more than anything else go to my mechanic and ask him, okay, which car should I get? Which car is the most reliable? Which car is the one which will, least problems and breakdowns? And then I might ask a few friends and relatives who are knowledgeable about cars. That would be my decision-making data, if you will. But that's just me. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
So interestingly, what you just now said, you would rely on certain, so
basically influencer.
99% of the people never go to a mechanic. You are unique. 99% of the people never go to a mechanic and ask which car they would want to buy.
Because he sees cars every day. He works on all of them. He knows
that's what I'm saying. So that's why I said that you're unique. 99% of the people will never go to a mechanic and ask which car is reliable, which car. If that would have been the case, maybe utility for you or the perception of the car for you is very different. But generally for people, car comes with a status symbol, branding, the way you, because it represents you. So nonetheless, and second part which you said is interesting is the relatives and the friends whom you are going to ask, they practically have used the cars.
Right.
They have same insignificant understanding as you. But your perception of them is driving your behavior to buy the cars.
Well, I said those friends and relatives who either have owned that car in the past or have just generally, car fanatics type. But if I have a friend or relative who knows nothing about cars, I won't bother asking his opinion.
So think about it. If that friend of yours has the same car or the same brand car, what is the probability of 1 lakh out of 1 lakh cars he having a bad experience and you being driven?
Right.
So rest all the cars of that brand is fantastic.
Right.
Just because, and you said it, just because that friend of yours will say ki meri gaadi to bahut kharab hai, this car doesn't work every time, I have to spend so much money.
But that, I think we can count that as a statistical anomaly and not really look at it in a general sense.
So 100% of the decision will be based on that one statistical anomaly.
Okay.
In particular. Right. Because if you ask a friend, so another interesting thing in our decision making process is, when we ask 10 people, if even one is massively negative, we don't care about those 9 people.
The 9 positives. Yeah.
So think about it.
Yeah. Wow.
And what is the probability that out of 9 people and 10 people owning the same car exactly, and you have asked 10 people, one has said bad,
right?
You would
one will probably will say bad because of the statistics of it.
Exactly.
Wow. But let me ask you this, Siddhartha. Now, this is the interesting question. Still, at least I'm doing something. I'm getting some data points. Maybe they're biased or whatever, but it's better than just buying a car based on a celebrity ad, right? Because that
100%.
No data, right? I mean,
100%. So that's a better way of doing it, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's why I said that you are unique. 99% of the people will buy ads because of the celebrity.
And however, I'm talking about the mid-range cars. Now, obviously, when you're in the world of Ferraris and Lamborghinis, then obviously it's a status symbol thing. But in the mid-range, I don't think someone's going, oh, I'll buy a Toyota that make me look better than a Honda guy. I mean, there isn't the branding factor. I would say in the lower levels is not that much. Obviously, there's a factor.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, there the branding is very different.
Okay.
In a car which is mid-sized or middle range in terms of the pricing, there the celebrity influence is not so large. And you rightly said, the reason is because there the values which the ads showcase is family bonding. Now think about it, who's going to buy that mid-range car? Somebody who may borrow it on a loan, somebody who's upgrading himself from a lower car to a newer car, to the next level of car, or somebody who's on a scooter and now getting into a car, who has a 2-wheeler now moving into a 4-wheeler.
Right.
Why is he or she buying car? Not only for himself or herself, but mostly to do with the family. The family has relatively...
In the ad, they always show the family going to a picnic or whatever.
Absolutely. Modest economics, right? Because the family has modest economic. Hence, to make sure that there is utility value from stretching your budget from a 2-wheeler to a 4-wheeler, there is a family satisfaction.
And that's the love.
That's the love.
Nice. So, Siddharth, coming back to startup, the world of startups, so in my case, we were talking about, okay, I see. So, I guess one question that I still didn't get answered is, I haven't started development yet. I've got an idea. How do I decide, okay, I should spend money on this, I should spend all this, development effort, this, that. Or or better yet, how do I figure out, okay, this isn't such a great idea, it's not going to work, come up with a new idea. How does someone do that? Now, we already determined focus groups on that grid. So
the simplest way of doing that is, unfortunately, there is no two way beyond having a prototype of it. So you have to create a basic.
Sure.
And what you have to do, when you create an app, your app will have 10 features, right? 9 features would be with some other app as well. Now, underlying assumption is that I'm bringing all 10 features together in one app, and hence the person is saving time, right? I'm just giving a very...
Actually, that is part of what's going on with me. Yes. Go ahead. Oh God, I'm dreading what you're going to say next, but go ahead.
So if that would have been the case, there was a very interesting, again, it's a listed company. What they did, so they were replicas of Yellow Pages, and then they created an app where they said that this app has everything. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have 10 apps. And it was endorsed by India's biggest brand celebrity on the film side.
Okay.
And then that failed miserably. So remember.
But why? So people don't like the grouping of functionalities, or what went wrong there?
So the very, very simple. If I want to use Instagram, I don't want my experience to get diluted if I see the Twitter notifications on it. Put it this way, I'm just using 2 very reputed brands and 2 very reputed platforms. When I am opening Instagram, there are people who generally look at images, but there are a whole bunch of people who see reels and short reels. In the interim, if I start getting conversation, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with it. If you're going to give me on the Twitter, when I'm going there, I'm seeing my idea is to respond, be part of that and respond, take decisions.
Okay.
Do things. In Instagram, I'm just enjoying. You are interrupting my conversation. Most people on Instagram don't even read the captions which are there down below. Do you know that? They only see
the picture.
Whatever is written. Yeah. There's content which is written below. People comment on it. They don't read if somebody is. Yeah. So the idea is, when I am in a particular environment, I only want to do this. Don't try and bring a lot of things and make do you even know one very simple fact? And I'm telling you as Vivek, try and you use WhatsApp.
Yes.
Thing. It's very, very simple, right? Yeah. Even I'm sure a 5-year-old can do it very quickly, right? You also drive.
Yes.
If I tell you that you drive and constantly keep texting, both at the same time, okay? Both are inbuilt in your subconscious mind now.
Yes.
I will tell you to do both. What will happen? You'll meet with an accident for sure.
Right.
You are aware of it. You will do it once at best when you have to say yes, no.
Simple one, yeah, okay, or yes, no, yeah.
Okay, or if there is a very important thing which somebody is constantly texting and trying to reach you, and you'll just say okay or whatever, and then driving or something, and you will just leave it. If you can't do these 2 things together, do you anticipate brain to assimilate 5 things which can keep popping up one after the other? I'm
No,
not
but
sure.
but the logic to that is that may not necessarily be the case in that so much is happening right at the same time. So, like, you'll get one message, one Instagram type sort of feed, let's say. Then few minutes later, like a message comes. So, I mean, it all depends, right? But anyway, that's what's happening on your phone. Now, I might argue, Siddharth, and just for the sake of discussion, that's what's happening on my phone because I have all these apps on my phone, right? So I'm on Instagram now. I got in my phone notifications. I got a thing from Twitter, so I got interrupted anyway, right? So
You got interrupted,
right,
when the notification came.
right.
Did you switch?
Well, if it was important enough, I might switch, right? I mean, right.
So until and unless it's a WhatsApp notification, you will not switch. You try doing it yourself, especially when you have, generally, when do people see Instagram?
No, but my point is, okay, fine, but can't I do all of that in the same one app, right? In the sense that the way I'm prioritizing, basically you're talking about prioritizing, right? Because
It's not prioritizing. It's getting muddled up.
okay.
Why do when I see make my trip, make my trip still sells more flight bookings than hotels.
Okay. Why?
Bookings.com Bookings.com sells only hotels.
Right.
Right. Remember so put it this way, would you command a premium when you are a general physician or a neurosurgeon?
Neurosurgeon, obviously.
100%. If you start thinking that a general physician is a great place, but general physician is just a gatekeeper.
Right.
Everything passes through him to get into different places.
Right.
But the consistency, and once you have relationship with a neurosurgeon, constantly you would tend to bypass this middleman.
Well, you do that if you feel you can make that decision. Like, in the sense that, okay, I know my head is hurting, so I'll go to the neurosurgeon as opposed to...
Once you know your neuro condition, and once you have built the rapport with the neurosurgeon,
right,
the general physician gets eliminated.
Yes.
Remember, most people. So tomorrow, if I say that Ferrari starts making low-end cars which are going to compete with Toyota, do you think people will buy that?
No.
May not.
No, probably not. In fact, not only that, it'll hurt their main brand, I think. I would imagine.
Absolutely. Why do you think BMW Mini doesn't sell so much? And BMW Mini is also at a premium, is at least equivalent car, it's a 3x premium. Remember, we in our mind and the conversation we are having again and again, we tend to put a label to everything, whatever we see, not the utility. We humanize a brand, and when we humanize a brand, we label that brand. It is good, it is bad, it is ugly, it is beautiful, it is cheap, it is low value.
Right. We give it categories. Put it in a...
In our mind, we humanize. So whenever I will think of Vivek, a certain picture will emerge in my mind.
Okay.
When you will think of Siddhartha, you will think of a certain person.
Right.
We have conversations so many times on the WhatsApp, but your first memory of World Trade Center is imprinted.
Yes.
That's exactly what happens. Until and unless I give you a negative experience, that is your lasting truth for me. That's why whatever thing you should do, you should try and create a space which is solving a problem for the person, not combining 3 solutions together and providing it.
Right.
Uber is a great brand, fantastic brand. Did Uber Eats work?
I'm not sure. I don't know the data. I'm guessing not. Yeah.
It didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't. Why?
Why? I don't know. Just because it's a...
They are doing exactly the same thing what Zomato is doing. They are doing the same thing what Swiggy is doing. They are doing exactly the same.
It's DoorDash. Yeah.
Or whatever. So yes, absolutely. So the brand which you just now said. The reason is the perception of Uber is
right. You know, like the basically
taxi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. It doesn't resonate with your hunger. When you are hungry, you don't think about Uber. It doesn't come to your mind.
It's not in that slot, that category. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think of Uber, I need to get from A to B, I'll call an Uber. But
would you call Zomato if you want to go from A to B? The answer is never.
Well, they don't have that service.
If tomorrow they start it, they will not succeed.
Got it. So you have to be very careful which way you expand. Right. Siddharth, thank you very much for joining us today. That was absolutely amazing. As I knew it would be. Lots of wonderful, interesting information that is not commonly and easily, available or even thought of by most people. Definitely, we'll have a second round. I'm sure there's lots more to discuss. So, before leaving, did you have any last words for a budding entrepreneur?
I have only three comments to make. Number one, fail fast, fail cheap. Fail fast, fail cheap.
Right.
Pivot, don't give up. Pivot, don't give up.
Okay.
Raise money very quickly. Don't remain bootstrapped for longer periods of time, because the global economy as well as your finances, both which seem to be certain now, may look uncertain tomorrow.
Right.
That's
All
it.
Right. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Siddharth. And for all the viewers, Siddharth's information is in the description below. So feel free to visit his profile and so on and learn more about him and what he's up to. And other than that, I'll see you all next time.
Just care. One word, one word, Vivek, final. Me and a friend of mine, we are coming with a book, The 100X Formula. It is about how do you make success in entrepreneurship 100X. Why do you win as an entrepreneur? How do you win as an entrepreneur? And what will it take for you to succeed in entrepreneurial journey of your life? Mm-hmm. Plus, it talks about investing. It talks about life. It talks about relationships. It's a fantastic book. It's going to be out in next 10 odd days, 10, 15 odd days. So feel free to like, subscribe, and buy it. And it can be a life transformation book for you.
Absolutely. I'll put that in the link. Once it's there, I guess there'll be an Amazon link and all that. So I'll put that as well. It'll take about a few days for us to edit and post it on YouTube anyway. So we'll do that.
Sure.
Okay,
sure.
Wonderful. So thanks, everyone. Hope you had a great time watching this. And I'll see you all next time. Take care, everyone.